Picture the smallest argument in the world. $3. One AI system bought computing power from another, and the deal promised responses under 800 milliseconds, 99.5% of the time. The seller says it hit the target. The buyer says it didn't. So what happens next? Nothing. Nothing happens, because there's no court on earth that will hear a $3 case. GenLayer's own framing is that the legal system averages 2.5 years and $43,000. And 11 days ago, 27 companies, MetaMask, OKX, the ZKsync team, shipped something built for exactly that argument. Underneath it sits a blockchain chasing a question most of crypto avoided. What do you do when the answer isn't a number? When the contract says reasonable effort or significantly delayed? So today, GenLayer, and one number I want to clear up because almost everybody reads it wrong, including me. This origin story starts with something going badly wrong. GenLayer was founded by Albert Castellana, now CEO of GenLayer Labs, with Edgars Nemse and Jose Maria Lago. Castellana and Nemse met at RadixDLT, then co-founded a staking company called StakeHound, and in May 2021, StakeHound lost access to a very large amount of customer Ethereum, 38,178 coins, in a key management failure at its custody provider. Here's the part to hold on to. It didn't get settled on a blockchain. It ended up in a courtroom in Tel Aviv. The people who lived through the moment an on-chain problem had to go find a human court are now building a court that lives on-chain. I'm not saying that's why they built it, but it's quite a thing to learn firsthand. And GenLayer didn't start as a blockchain at all. It launched in 2023 as an AI agent company. The name GenLayer doesn't appear until March the following year. The chain was the answer to a problem they hit building agents. You can still see the fingerprints. Their GitHub organization carries a topic tag from the old company name. So what actually is an intelligent contract? An ordinary smart contract is deterministic. Every computer running it must reach the same answer every time, or the network can't agree on anything. That's the whole trick, and it's also the cage. It can't read a news article or look at a web page or form a judgment. A GenLayer intelligent contract is a Python class, actual Python, and it runs inside GenVM, a stripped-down Python interpreter written in Rust, with no operating system, no disk, no network, no randomness, deliberately sealed shut. But there's one hatch in that box, and through it, a contract can do two things ordinary contracts cannot: fetch a live web page without an oracle, and ask a large language model a question in plain English and use the answer. Now, 5 computers asking an AI the same question get 5 different answers. So how does anyone agree? That's the equivalence principle. 2 flavors. In the comparative version, every validator does the work itself, and the answers must land inside a tolerance the developer wrote, real numbers from their docs, within 2% on a price or 2 points on a 1 to 10 score. Think of marking a maths test. Different handwriting, same answer, close enough. In the non-comparative version, one validator answers and everyone else judges it against written criteria. That's grading an essay against a rubric. And that tolerance isn't a protocol setting handed down from above. It's application code. The developer decides how much disagreement is acceptable. Nobody else hands you that dial. Now the consensus, which they call optimistic democracy. On GenLayer's homepage, there's an animation reading 0 of 1,001 validators selected, and a lot of coverage turned that into 1,000 AI validators deciding every transaction. That's not what it means, and the truth is better. 1,000-ish is the pool, the active validator set you draw from. The jury actually seated on your transaction starts at 5, and you don't have to take my word for it. GenLayer publishes an open source simulator of its own consensus rules, and a file in there states it in plain constants. Normal round sizes, 5, 11, 23. Appeal rounds, 7, 13, 25. So here's how a decision happens. 5 validators. One is picked as leader and proposes the answer. The others independently check it. 3 of 5 agree, it passes. If the leader fails, the roll rotates. Burn through the whole set without agreement, and it comes back marked undetermined. The state simply doesn't change. Nothing gets forced through. Think the jury got it wrong? You post a bond and appeal, and the jury gets bigger. 5 becomes 11, becomes 23, climbing past 1,500 if people keep fighting. Win, your bond comes back with a reward. Lose, it's gone. And every validator runs whatever AI model it likes. GenLayer calls this gray boxing. An attacker can see language models are being used, but can't know which one will handle their request, which quietly kills the lazy criticism that this just depends on one AI company. Now the honest part. GenLayer's homepage says 3.77 transactions per second and 326,000 a day. Open their own Bradbury testnet explorer and it says peak transactions per second, 0.02. So which is real? Both. And you can do the arithmetic in 10 seconds. 326,000 divided by the 86,400 seconds in a day is 3.77. Exactly. The headline counts every transaction on the underlying chain, the plumbing. The Explorer counts AI juries actually reaching verdicts. 3.77 is the pipes. 0.02 is the courtroom. Neither is a lie. And the real scale is small, and they don't hide it. About 181,000 GenLayer transactions from 1,153 unique senders. Here's what I admire, though. On their validator list, there's a column labeled minority percent, a public scoreboard of how often each operator's AI disagreed with everybody else's. Some nodes sit at 2 or 3%. One sits at nearly 19. They publish that about themselves. I can't think of another network that shows you its own disagreement rate. Now the gaps, plainly. No published third-party audit yet. The validator node and consensus contracts are closed source, while the VM, the studio, and the developer kits are open. And the delegator count on both testnets is 0, so that half of staking is untested. And the sharpest criticism came through Forbes, from Lindsay Lin at Dragonfly, who pointed out that language models can be correlated because they share training data and common failure modes. That matters because the whole security argument leans on jurors thinking independently. Gray boxing is GenLayer's answer. Whether it's enough is genuinely open, and I'd rather tell you that than pretend. So, the 11-day-old news. On July 10th, the GenLayer Foundation led 27 companies, their own count, in launching Internet Court, and the framing is the best thing about it. Every layer of the agent economy already shipped: identity, negotiation, payments, execution, and everyone was built for the deal that goes right. When a deal goes wrong, each layer passes it down the line, until the last one, where there's nowhere left to send it. Their words: the system is operating on the happy path. So Internet Court maps 6 layers, and GenLayer sits in layer 6, verification and disputes, alongside Claros and UMA. And Claros and UMA are the incumbents in decentralized dispute resolution, and they're founding members of this consortium in the very same box. Connect the layers, not win the layer. And how you use it is delightful. It isn't an app, it's a markdown file. You curl a URL into your AI agent, and your agent knows how to use the court. Now, who actually confirmed it in their own words? 3. MetaMask's Smart Accounts lead confirmed GenLayer uses their Smart Accounts kit, their ERC 7710 delegations, and their X402 facilitator. Matter Labs, the ZKsync team, confirmed the chain runs on their stack. And OKX named GenLayer on its own site, launching OKX AI on June 30th. Everybody else is just listed as a founding partner. I went looking and couldn't find them saying it themselves. And one correction worth making: Coinbase and Google are not members. They wrote standards the court connects to. Castellana put the real challenge better than I could to TechCrunch. What we're building is essentially a digital court system. The challenge for us is distribution. OKX already has that. So what's worth watching? First, the honest status. There is no mainnet. GenLayer's own documentation lists Bradbury, Asimov, and a couple of others, and no mainnet entry at all. Everything running today, Internet Court included, runs on a testnet. Their roadmap puts mainnet in the fourth quarter of this year. Second, the one-eyed circle. The next milestone, Clark, is a third quarter commitment. That is, right now. Clark is the mainnet release candidate, and by their own account, final security audits only begin once Clark is up. So that's your gate. Not a press release, a testnet going live, then audits appearing. Third, there is no GenLayer token trading, and no token event has been announced. The foundation runs a points and builders program, and that's it. If you're seeing airdrop content about this, it is not coming from them. And here's what you can genuinely do today, for free. Curl that Internet Court skill file and read the whole thing in 2 minutes. Open the Bradbury Explorer and look at the minority column yourself. And open the fee simulator repo, read the round sizes, and check my correction in 30 seconds. The 3 markers I'd watch: a published third-party audit, that validator node going open source, and the first non-zero delegator count. Those will tell you more than any announcement ever will. If you got something out of this one, a like genuinely helps, and subscribing means you'll catch the follow-up when Clark lands. Every source and every number is in the Notion link in the description, so you can check my work rather than take my word for it. Thanks for spending the time with me. See you in the next one.